idea of just how much work we were going to have to pack into 6 months. And at times I really wasn't sure if we were going to pull it off. But thanks to the work done by the working group, which was set up to implement the event involving staff, service users and some of our board, I needn't have worried because I think they've come up with an absolutely brilliant day.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I asked you to give you a little bit of information about how the Blue Triangle started up. The YWCA, way back in 1974, decided, the Glasgow YWCA, that they would set up their own housing association and that they would call it the Blue Triangle Glasgow Housing Association. Now at that time there was 3 other housing associations to do with the YW in Scotland. There was Edinburgh, which was a big one, Aberdeen, and then Inverness, and then Glasgow. Now Glasgow is the only one that's left now. There's no other housing association in Glasgow.
For all of the 40 years, Blue Triangle has always been about people in need. And often we become the last resort option for many a vulnerable person who, for whatever reason, is trying to find an exit strategy from the challenging situations their lives have become. One of my personal cliches about Blue Triangle, and it's not really a good marketing cliche, this, is that we specialise in chaos. And we don't really like promoting that on our kind of taglines. But the reality is, today, our unique selling point is that we welcome and embrace people often rejected by others. Often rejected because of challenging behaviours and chaotic lifestyles. Tonight, we accommodate and support 300 service users across 26 sites in 9 local authority areas of Scotland. And if it wasn't for ourselves, many of these people could be rough sleeping, very isolated and extremely vulnerable. And without our willingness as staff and the financial support of our local authority partners who resource our work, there's no doubt in my mind there'll be a lot of people in dire straits today. Today we have 2 representatives. Will you give a big hand, please, to Willie and to Emma? Come and join me, guys. If a new service user moved into a Blue Triangle service, just like Pope Seaton, what kind of advice would you give them to settle?
Have respect, and everybody's got their own problems and never judge. We're all in there for a reason.
Excellent. Now this man has been on a journey and a half, and he's been with us 6 months. and he could speak here for the rest of the afternoon. So he's under strict instruction just to say a few things. But seriously, folks, Willie, you're a changed man since you moved into Blue Triangle. So what have you found out about yourself since you moved into Blue Triangle?
Being a person, not an individual, where the people care about you, not just for yourself, but for everybody, and treat them with the utmost respect.
Thank you.
As you've already seen and hopefully enjoyed, there's a great deal of talent, skill and potential in the service users of Blue Triangle. And the next few minutes will continue to demonstrate that with some exceptional writing. Some of the writers have moved on from Blue Triangle, and we wish them well. But their stories are redolent of many who have passed through Blue Triangle doors in the last 40 years. They will be read by current service users. Heather from Lamech and Chloe from Glasgow chose to tell their very personal stories as poems.
This poem is by Chloe from Glasgow. It all started at Chapel Avenue, a children's home in Knightswood everybody knew. I sat in the room as the hours went by, getting in with the wrong crowd and smoking to get high. But then at the age of just 15 years old, I couldn't believe what the pregnancy test showed. I stopped to drugs and the booze with thirst. I had to start putting my baby first.
I travelled to Sudan by car and walked in disguise. Then I got to the capital city in Qatar, and then to France, where I got a leave to England. When police found me, I was taken to Bedford and then to Glasgow. My journey took many months. Now I live in a Blue Triangle house. The staff there is...
So with their help, it didn't really take us that long to find the right logo. And without much further ado, it's goodbye to the old. Say goodbye. Bye. Hello to the new. Say hello. Hello. It's about giving vulnerable people access to creative art, such as music, fashion, creative writing, and gaining qualifications as a result of their engagement in these fields. It's about service users visiting campuses and experiencing the sheer buzz of creative learning environments on the campuses, which they may never have experienced before. It's about joint working and people learning from one another, students working with our service users and staff and vice versa. It's about students beginning to understand the true nature of homelessness and the stigma around it for people. It's about thinking about using resources in new and different ways. Colleges have facilities and resources, some of the brightest minds in technology, business and arts. And how can we harness that to help vulnerable people in the communities where these colleges and universities exist? So this partnership has been much more than we dreamed of at the start of the process. And we want to explore how we can build this partnership further in a meaningful way. Okay, that's the event official close, and we're going to sing you out by our choir.